Thank you, Kate. That was really clear, very, very concise. Thank you very much. Now, talking about the peat beds, if you do drive up the valley today, you're about to shed tears. It really looks terrible, unfortunately. So the next speaker is going to talk about the peat beds and what we possibly can do to save what is still there. So Johan Montgomery, who is an electromechanical engineer by training, he later studied agricultural management, and then he spent some time in the Department of Environmental Affairs, particularly on sea fisheries. And he's now built an aqua.
Goeiemôre al julle groen dames en here. Ek groet julle in Afrikaans, sodat julle weet wat my heritage is. So, Dr. John Bristow phoned me one day and I said, I've got this topic for you, you have to speak about this. I said, this? Me? I'm not so sure. And after 3 pushes, I jumped a cliff, and here I am. And I still don't think it's a good idea to stand here to try and solve this problem. Because I don't know how, really. But we'll try to make sense of it. About 23 years ago, I started to work in the valley, and the wetland didn't look much different than today. It's not the degradation wasn't as bad, but the bottom end of the valley was overgrown with aliens, major aliens. You couldn't see them, the peat beds or parts of the wetland. And the sweet of the story then is, the aliens were taken care of over the years by landowners, land care, volunteers, and there are much less aliens today in the wetland. I've seen them honest. I've been in the area for about 30 years now, going through floods, mini floods, big floods, fires, mountain fires, houses burned down in town, etc. So we're becoming resilient to see and experience all these things. I hope we don't get used to it. So I want to take you on this journey, not to give you, well, I'll get to the final answer later, but I think it's important that we realize that there's not only one practical solution. And it's also important, I hear that the honest people want to tackle the wetlands next, and they're very welcome to. But I think it's just time that we inform them of what has been done and the practical solutions that we've tried to get to where we are today. So, Kate, you get extra time this morning. Your major effort that you made mention of, I call practical solution number 1. Because there are a number of them. Kate was tasked to produce a document. I think she was tasked by working for wetland. If I make a mistake, Kate, it's not intentional, it's just because I don't know. I'm speaking from a layman here, and this is my experience of this whole journey. And it was you could call a Rolls-Royce document. Everything, it had everything. Every centimeter of that wetland was described, the history, what it looked like, photographs, the plants, the whole lot. There we go, that's one. Recognize that, Kate? That day. And that's the first page of that document. And please read it. A rehabilitation plan for the Overberg Wetland Project, Western Cape Planning, year 2019-2020. Now, we also go on a timeline here. For the Department of Environmental Affairs, Directorate working for wetlands. The final report was prepared by Kate. November 2020, you submitted. The Eurocon was involved there. I saw the technical drawings later, much later, a year later, after this was submitted. And this was all very impressive. The design, the concrete weirs that was going to go in, world class. We heard nothing a year later. I haven't heard anything. I'm not sure if it's on somebody's desk. I'm not sure if Kate has received feedback. I hope they paid it. And about 12 months, 13 months later, I asked them, what happened to this document? And some official forwarded to me, and I said, oh, this is interesting. And then I read about the annexures, the addendums, and the Eurocon, because I'm interested in the engineering side of it. I asked for, no, where's the Eurocon thing? And they said, and I thought, wow. I tell you, it was impressive. But I don't know where it is at the moment. And just to prove to you how top drawer this document was, this is the way you do a project of that nature. This is where you start. I know you can't read it, but at this stage we were all still a bit deaf in this, landowners. I'm talking on behalf of the landowner. And the landowners were always invited to the meetings, and we learned and we listened from the professionals, and we were so glad that after the January 2019 fires, there's so much attention on this wetland now, and it's going to be rehabilitated and restored. It was absolutely fantastic. We were very excited. What's important there is landowner engagement, and that's what we were engaged. We weren't tasked that it's our job to restore the wetland. And at the end, we only had to sign a landowner's consent form, which I think we all did. Yep, it came, right? And we signed it, and it went in, so landowners were happy with it, and like I said, not much happened. In the meantime, there were lots of site visits. The place became the meeting place for scientists, students, PhD students, municipal, Western Cape, national government, you name it. They were all there. They were all interested. And it was meeting after meeting after meeting. In committees work, you know what a committee is? A committee is all those meetings where you come and ons drink tea. And that's what we did. We just had committee meeting above committee meeting, and that's it. So, go to the last place. So we met Russel from OM, introduced us to Dr. Piet Grinling, and it was good to have him on board. He was a practical man. He's a wetland specialist also, and he's done a couple of great wetland jobs in South Africa. We came up with this plan. Piet drew this, and we mapped the whole lot out. And there's the Caribbean wall, and what we're going to do, and when we talk about the head cut and where we're going to restore, and the description for that is here. And this was very important. I put this paragraph in for us to just see what the feeling was then. And now we're talking about November 21. It's a year on from Kate's document. This is practical solution number 2. The key of the success in finally addressing the degradation of this sensitive environment is to engage with one another as government departments, landowners, NGOs, and affected communities in the true spirit of cooperative governance. When landowners come to the party in the positive spirit, as we have experienced this week, then success is at hand. It was a great feeling. We were all amped for this thing. Intervention, it would be nice if we have time to just talk through all those. But please take note, it was a doable, practical, and let's say affordable way to attack the wetland. What will be important now is to see what we could do of all those pointers. We'll come back to this one. And use it again. Sorry. Intervention number 2, the priority number 2 of intervention number 2, and please read it. So more people, more meetings, and landowners decided at the end, maybe it's time that we start to do something. So we got involved in priority number 5. The ARC needed to do some research there, and Piet thought this was very important. Hemel and Russel sponsored this, all the hardware for this, the tubes, the pipes, everything they needed. We gave our workshop, our facilities for them to make it up. And the thought was, if we start to do something, maybe some government department or some NGO or some fundraiser somewhere will notice and say, something is happening. It has started. Maybe we should all club in and see what we can do. But nothing. So the committees went on, and we then decided to go back to what was suggested. We do a Hans King report. We get Hans King in. So at that time we were tired of all the meetings. And you know how it works, 20 people in the room, 20 ideas, and 0 happens. So we said we're going to stop all this. No more meetings with all these people. And we put a qualification on if you want to come to a meeting. Wellingtons, spade, wheelbarrow, checkbook. If you cannot bring that, you're not welcome to come to the meeting. Because we started to realize that this is more and more in the hand of the landowner. Government departments have disappeared. They're not there. And then we heard in the passages that people flying down from Joburg, from Pretoria to come and look at the wetland is too often now, and the costs are going up and the costs are going up. Maybe we should just make it the landowner's problem and give them a directive. I overheard that, one of the site meetings. And I went like this. Can you imagine a 6 million rand fine for a landowner in the Hemel and Aarde Valley or something like that? So I went to the other landowner, only 2 landowners involved in the estates, Hemel and Russel. The smallest, minutest little piece of degradation was on their property, most on Campbell. Now you know where Campbell get their money from. So this was we then decided, okay, let's prove that we can do something or are willing to do something. Should that directive come, we can say, we've tried. But you stop us all the time. We'll get to that now, the stopping. So Hans King, we split the cost between the 2 companies. We got the report. That was now practical solution number 3, as you can see there. Timeline, August 23. So now, but we did. I can't go faster than so he gave us a breakdown of the cost. So we had to do 2 things. We still didn't understand the landowners. EIAs, we know about EIAs, cost lots of money, take lots of time, and that's why it costs so much. We know at that stage there was a thing called the S30A, emergency repairs for what you can do. You can apply for the S30A after floods to work in a river to restore or to get your water. That's more for agricultural purposes. We battled with that one once, and we battled with this one again. But whilst we were applying for the A30, we took the budget and I made more options. So what we did was we did our own committee. We made the Overstrand Municipality Resource Department. They were did the secretarial duties, and remember they connected. So we need connections. Volmoed and Campbell, they had to sign the documents because most of the stuff is on their land. And I took on Hans King, but I had a plan. Why I said I will do Hans King because he's practical and I'm practical. And the minute we shook hands on site the first time, we knew we understood each other. And my agenda was this: to tell him not to listen to a scientist, and not to listen to a government official, but listen to me, because I'm going to have to go to my financial manager and say, we're paying for this. So we're going to go for a practical plan, easy. And he understood that. And then I went further, because whilst we were waiting now for the approval to work in the river, we had to find funds. And it's there. It's just not just for you to see how much. It wasn't a lot of money if you think about it today, and this is only a couple of months ago. But there was a lower weir and a top weir where it's maybe not time to show you on the picture, but there was 2 weirs we had to put in bulk bags, and the costs were more for to get the soil to put in the bulk bags. The transport and how you fill it, the labor, the crane to put it in there. It's deep dongos down there. You can't just go pack sandbags in there. It doesn't work like that. So we took the different options to possible people who can help us with funding. And whilst we were doing that and waiting for the A30, well, I'm just going to jump one ahead and then the next slide will show what happened in the meantime. On the 10th of November, we get this letter back, addressed to Foreman, the general manager there, and they tell us that the permission for the S30A is declined because there was a previous problem with it and it doesn't really count anymore, and you can do an EIA if you want to, if you can speed read there. But the best option they have for us is to do the maintenance management plan. You have to submit that and then we can approve you going ahead. What's important there is such a maintenance, well, because we're coming back to that, such a maintenance management plan has to be adopted by the competent authority prior to its implementation. I've asked this question. Now, what does the maintenance management plan look like? What must be in there for them to approve, government to approve? And who is this competent authority? Is it a local municipality? Can it be an engineer, just another engineer, qualified? Can it be Kate? Who can it be? So, but in the meantime, the time there is the feedback we got was we submitted 8 September and we got it back 30th of November. But in between, this happened. In between asking, report, waiting for approval, looking for funding, this happened. The morning after, Kurt from Campbell and myself spoke and we said, there goes our money. Our report is null and void. There's nothing we can do. Kate's gone. That has to be re-engineered. This Hans King report has to be re-engineered. This is the time we're wasting. So the pictures, Kate didn't want to show them, I don't have a pointer here, that is from the top, second one, third, fourth. This one here on middle left is at this roadwork sign. Yeah. This was going to be the top here, and it was very narrow. It's now double highway. The bottom left is also where the sandbags were going to go. Yeah. You can't 300 or 400 sandbags in there is too big. So that was that other next practical solution gone. Here we can see, I just wanted for practical solutions, this slide show you permanent, because this is where we're going, permanent versus temporary stabilization. Now, note that Gabion weir that was there, it was, I don't know where the Gabion wall was coming from, and I'd love to spend some time on that a bit, but seeing that we pressed, that is rocks, massive rocks, packed in about a 2 meter wide Gabion wire construction of thick wire. Not the Gabion walls you see nowadays. So where that one came from used to be there. I have no idea. I have no idea if there wasn't wetland apartments in those years, where it came from. I have seen that for 23 years in that valley. So, and it was overgrown when I saw it the first time. And there's also one a little bit higher up. That is still sitting high and dry there. I'm not sure if it was an effort of a previous intervention where people tried to slow down the water flow. The blue line is where the water used to flow prior to September last year. This is the new river, it's the bottom here, where the weir was. And this is why I'm starting to ask, is it a good idea to build a 5 million rand concrete weir? and the next flood will take it up. Because what we're seeing is that the water, like this flood, go around the structures. So if it goes around that structure on the right-hand side, it will take some of the buildings of Camden out. If it comes this way of that structure, it will take the rest of the R320 out. So, must we spend time and money to force government and people to build expensive weirs? So then we go to the, let's say, the last practical solution that I could come up with. We've now had, go back to that slide with that Dr. Piet Louis Grinling gave us with all those practical points. And in there, we didn't read through them, there was berms. So this is not only my special idea, it's he started the idea. And we still then ticking off ideas he had. So it was still the best idea up to now. It's just a pity we didn't get people to join the party. So now they're working on the road, and I see that they take the base course out and they go dump it. And I took a couple of loads and said, bring it to me. Well, we've got lots of damage on the farm as well. We can, no, it's a shortcut for them, they'll tip it there. I said, fine. But the chief engineer doesn't like it because that's not according to the plan. So we stopped that. So now they've almost completed the one side of the road, and they're moving within the next couple of days, weeks, 2 weeks or so, to dig up the other side. With the side we drive on now, the old side. So I asked him, where is this going? So the site manager said to me, we're not sure yet, but we must find a place to dump it. I said, can I have it? All of it. He said, you can. Where are we going to dump it? I said, here next to the road. See the Kikuyu next to the road? We're going to dump it there. He said, wow, it will save us a lot of time. It will save us a lot of money. I said, and so it will save us a lot of time and money. So I think we should do it. I said, but just wait, you can't start. Let me just find out. And then so I spoke to the municipality in the environment department and said, listen, what will happen if I dump all this next to the road? So, ooh, don't do that. I said, no, there could be consequences, but what can happen? So they did a lot of homework for me, and they came back, and that was the answer. We're all in NEMA and all those things again, Kate. That long list. I said, now, can't we just do a wafer somewhere? Can't we make a plan? Can't some government official come down to my level and say, Boetie, nee man, jy is deur die mis man, jy verstaan nie die ding so lekker nie. Jy moet eers die vorm invul. Dan vul ek die vorm in. But why must, you know Noddy, story of Noddy, and one of the characters, Mr. Plot, policeman, you know them. So what is, they walk in the street, they walk in the park, the car drives too fast, and Mr. Plot goes, he stopped Noddy one day, I remember that little book, it was before TV. And Mr. Plot always said, stop in the name of the law. This is what we're doing every day now. We stop in the name of the law. So, ladies and gentlemen, there will not be mega cubic meters of good material that you can use for miniature berms in the river. You will not see it now. It will now cost the taxpayer a lot of money if this has to start all over again. So I'm not sure if you saw that, you remember the previous picture with the yellow lines in there? That was, I suggested, asked what you want to do with this. I said, leave the material there. Somebody will give us an excavator. I can organize it all. If somebody is just prepared to pay 620 rand an hour, I maybe can squeeze some diesel from the farm. Work there for 3 or 4 days. Take that material down, slang on Kikuyu in any case. push it down into where the white sand is at the bottom now. Make small berms. What are we trying to do then? Just small things. We're trying to save this elephant style. Eating an elephant style. We know that, how to do that. Let's not put the big stuff in. Let's not go for the big stuff. If we can make a berm so high, in that flow, bank the water a bit, dam it, in other words, and let the green vegetation just start to take over the white sand exposed. Because winter is coming. We wanted Hans stuff in before winter. Well, that's history now. So why not small berms? What's the issue here? How can it be so difficult? So, seeing that we are on a blah blah page now, no, I don't like the CIA and I don't like the mafia to come and hunt me down. Let's say this is I'm going to tell you a Netflix story. My own Netflix story. I'm making it up because I can maybe get the facts wrong. So let's maybe say it's fictional. September last year, we cut off from the world. This bridge at Port River was gone. It's gone. For weeks. So what do we do? When can we travel? When can we travel? When can we travel? Bypass hundreds of cars to here. Detours, going crazy. We need that bridge fixed. We need it fixed. We need it fixed. Western Cape government, yes, fantastic. They organized it quickly. Engineers do the job. They started to fix the bridge. I've heard, end of last week, the company, this is now the fiction story, let's make it fiction, for in case I don't have all the facts right. The company got a massive fine afterwards. So I asked them, why did they get a massive fine? And they fired the engineer. He's out of the job now. How did they happen? They did something to the environment whilst fixing the bridge that was not approved. But the people who fined the company, the government, acknowledged what he did was right, it was correct, it was the right thing to do. But he didn't have a piece of paper. Mr. Claude. So I thought last night about this, and I said, yeah, for us, we didn't have water for a couple of days after this, did we? And we were not getting the water. Where's the water? We need to shower. What's going on? Buy water. We need the water. So the municipality is doing their best to restore the water. They did a great job. But I'm wondering today, did they get an S38 for it? Because they worked in a flipping river. In my river. I'm the landowner. They worked in my river without permission. Maybe they got permission. If they did, how come they got permission so fast to work with concrete, permanent structures, dump stuff in there? There was an excavator in there. There was a digger loader in there. There was a concrete mixer that they put it down in there. How can they do that? Pipe welders. How did we worry about the bridge that we go to Camp Hill, that the bridge washed away? Did we worry about the bridge? Yes. There were kids on the other side. Law enforcement was on the other side. We need to go from one side to the other very quickly. You have to applaud the municipality. They did a fantastic job fixing the bridge quickly, temporarily. What did they do? They filled the flippant thing with rubble and material that they tipped in there so the cars can drive over it. Did they get an S38 for it? I'm wondering. I hope I'm wrong. Why can't I get an S38 or permission? Or why is there not a government official with foresight that can do a waiver, that can come and say, this is the problem. This man has got a good point. He can save the taxpayer. That's why I put it, which we didn't discuss in detail, the budget on there. Mega hundreds of thousands of rand. And the material is on site. That's not acceptable. So, okay, those list of acts and things, I'm not going to repeat them. But I call them the good, the bad, and the ugly. They're good. Because there are cowboys out there. they can mess up this lovely environment that we love so much. So the law is a good thing, but it's a bad thing if they can't allow my little idea to not mess up the environment, but to help it and to make a difference. Then that law is a bad thing. Then it's Mr. Plot. And the ugly thing is, what happened to that engineer? Because that could have been me. Because I said, on the group, ask Shireen, I am going to dump it there. Actually, tip it there. Dump is bad because it was good, clean material, fit for the job. I am going to tip it there and say sorry later, because that works in this country. Just say sorry. Jammer. Ek het nie bedoel nie. Maak wat julle wil. So where are we? As of today, green, ladies and gentlemen, this is the summary of my story. Practical solutions. The best thing I can come up with is a maintenance management plan for the temporary stabilization of the wetland. That's if we still want to do it, or keen to do it. Who's going to keep on bashing his head? Oh, look at my hair, it's gone from bashing. I'm moeg geploeg met die goed. A point in 18, it could be the Overstrand Municipalities project, the coast, catchment to coast project, which needs to be applauded. But will they ever have the money? They have the connections, they have the contacts. And with every meeting we're talking to these people, there's so many million rand there, there's so many billion rand there. I want to see it's transferred into someone's bank account, and I believe we can carry on. Do the design for the maintenance management plan, application and approval, if we can get past Mr. Plot. Funding. The owners group will know all about funding. I am on your group and I'm following it. And then the implementation, the idea was to just do the re-wetting as quickly as possible, promote regrowth, and here's a nice one for the community, for those people who like to do nice things for the community. Start a palm meat nursery. This guy said to me the other day, he wants to clean the river. I said, there's your plan. Get the palm meat nursery. It's not difficult. Palm meat grow easy. You can see, they take long to die there. They get a little bit of water. Rain goes night again. They grow. Guilleminel is consulting environmental engineers. They do it all the time. I traded them once. If any of you say this, I should go back to the no-ink page. They need it to rehabilitation outside Stanford here, a little bit of palm meat. And they said, can we get some of this palm meat? I said, you what? And all the landowners said, what? You can't take the palm meat from this wetland? And whoa, guys. I said, okay, how's this going to work? So we take 3, 4, 5 bunches, some here, some there, and it's finished, and one bucket load will be done. I said, that's all. I thought you were talking about trucks and bulldozers. No. I said, okay, here's the deal. You take those, we don't tell anybody, you didn't get anything, and you will take all those invasives out that's in the center of the wetland, because we can't get to that spot in any case. And we don't have the manpower. And they said, deal. We have the teams. Why can't we do projects like that? What's the problem with it? So if they come and catch me now, you talked out, eh? You spilled the tea, talking about tea. I think I'm done.